morning, happy Monday. Jackie Broman here from TBA Law. So I try and pop in every Monday morning around 10 o'clock and do a live Facebook video for you with a short snippet of legal information. And look, every fortnight at the moment, we're also doing a longer segment on Facebook as well on a Friday around 11 o'clock. So last Friday, my colleague Sarah Coombs was in here doing a short piece of information on downsizing real estate for those who are looking to move out of a house into something smaller or then into some kind of retirement village. So go back and have a look at that. All the videos get saved onto our page. So on the videos page, on the tab on our Facebook page, you can go and have a look at all those there. If anything's relevant, please tag someone, or if this is relevant for you, by all means, direct message us if you want more information. Because what I'm going to give you is just a general overview. Obviously, it's not specific to your situation. Today, I wanted to talk about understanding bankruptcy a little bit more. And look, bankruptcy should really be a last resort. If you're having financial problems and you want to do something about it voluntarily, there are quite a lot of government services that pay for financial counselling. So go to a financial counsellor first, because their role is actually to help you potentially negotiate your way out of the situation you're in. And you don't have to go all the way to bankruptcy. There are other levels of insolvency agreement you can do before you go bankrupt. So yes, please, if you are struggling financially, reach out to a financial counsellor as your first step. Now, the purposes of bankruptcy are to try and give you a clean slate if you go bankrupt. So it's like a fresh start for the bankrupt after they've been discharged. However, it's not a complete fresh start, so it's just a partial fresh start. And the other purpose of bankruptcy is, from the creditor's perspective, to try and even out where the assets go, so they don't all go disproportionately to one or another. If there are multiple creditors, they all get a certain amount, like 20 cents in the dollar or something like that. So that's the purpose of bankruptcy. Now, you can voluntarily go bankrupt, but like I said, it should be the last resort, and there are methods, other insolvency agreements you can go into before it gets to the point of bankruptcy. So there's the voluntary method, then there's the forced method. So if a creditor or some creditors really want to make life difficult for you, you know, you've defaulted to that point, they'll sue you for it. And after they have a judgment, they can apply to bankrupt you. Now, at all these points, there are chances to negotiate a different kind of settlement than bankruptcy as well. So again, keep that in mind. Don't just allow bankruptcy to happen. You can negotiate, because whoever is taking you to court would prefer to have a direct agreement with you about some payment than you going bankrupt, because they don't know how many creditors there are that will dip in and reduce the amount they might ultimately get. So just bear that in mind too. And then the third type of bankruptcy is when someone has passed away. If there is an estate that is actually insolvent, so there's more owing than is in the estate, the administrator doesn't have to, but they could, again, voluntarily apply for someone else to administer the bankrupt estate rather than themselves, because it can just take off some pressure and get them out of potentially a bit of trouble of not following the rules properly. So that's the purpose, and those are the types of bankruptcy. Now, some extra little tips and bits of information about bankruptcy. So it stays on your credit report, obviously, for a fair while. You can be discharged from your bankruptcy within 5 years, but then it still remains on your report for another couple of years. So it's visible there. while you are bankrupt, you can apply for some credit. You're unlikely to get it, but you may. If you apply for credit that is over $5,000, you have to disclose that you're bankrupt. And quite often people ask you whether you are prior bankrupt, and you have to disclose that too. Like it's actually a criminal finable offence if you don't. So it stays on your credit report. It's always on the National Credit Reporting Index, right? So even if it's not on your personal credit report because it's 20 years ago, it may still be on the index for a national person search. If you are bankrupt, so while you are bankrupt, you can still earn money. You may not be able to be employed in certain jobs. You certainly can't be a company director. You certainly can't be the trustee of your own super fund. You can't hold certain government jobs, but you can work and you can earn up to a certain amount, and it's protected income. On average, that's about $55,000 that you can earn without having to contribute extra that you're earning to your administrator in bankruptcy to continue to pay debts. Right, so that allows at least some income earning capacity while you're getting yourself back on your feet. The other things that being bankrupt might have difficulty with, other than getting credit again, will be potentially insurance policies. So an insurer doesn't have to give you insurance if you've been bankrupt before. So you do have to declare that as well in many applications for insurance. You also may have to surrender your passport if you are bankrupt, because they don't necessarily want you leaving and then earning money overseas that they can't collect. And the other interesting thing to talk about is often where there's jointly held assets. And you see a lot of people move assets into the name of their spouse, particularly when they go into business to try and protect their assets from bankruptcy. Now, it does add some protection. A jointly held asset can be sold by the administrator in bankruptcy, but the joint owner, so the spouse that's also on title, usually gets the first chance to buy them out, not on the market, right? So you hopefully get to keep your house if your spouse can sort that out. If they can't, they can force the sale and then the proceeds get split. Now, just because you've transferred your house into your spouse's sole name doesn't mean that it's completely protected sometimes. So if you've contributed to paying for that house, the trustee in bankruptcy may still have an equitable claim on the amount that you've contributed. So it's never a complete protection. It's only completely protected if your spouse has bought the house by themselves outright. So there you go. There's some tips and information about understanding bankruptcy a little bit better, about trying to avoid it and doing everything you can not to go bankrupt if you're headed down that path, and some of the potential impacts if you do. So, I mean, it's just a snippet of information, but I hope that it helps down the path if you or someone you know is struggling financially. Now, like I said again at the beginning, if anyone is struggling financially, please utilise the financial counselling resources that are paid for by the government. A financial counsellor is not just a therapist, it is someone who actually works through with you how you're going to pay your debts off and can help you contact them and negotiate payment arrangements. So I will see you again next Monday. We try and do these videos every week, me coming in here at 10, and then every fortnight we're doing a longer piece of information, which is actually listed in the events section on our Facebook page, and that happens on a Friday. So check all those out. All the videos get saved on the video page on our video tab on our Facebook page, so you can go back and have a look at what's relevant for you. We've got over 2 years worth of videos there. So otherwise, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.